Christmas festivities coming to an end, but there is still a feel-good factor around Old Trafford as the wins and the points continue to pile on in Manchester United's possible bid for a 21st title. They are certainly much closer than they were at the stage of last season. The team has really improved and there is such a great feeling around this place at the moment. Well, it is a tale of two teams today. 40 goals scored against 13. The worst goal difference in the league there. That's a really huge gap. And for Huddersfield today, their opponents, Manchester United, they never seem to stop scoring. They may be out of the Carabao Cup, but that is always a second kind of priority when it comes to Old Trafford. The FA Cup, the Champions League and the Premier League, of course, is where Manchester United is at. And if you were in the news recently, you'll know that Manchester United were drawn against Liverpool. My apologies, I'll get it out in a sec. They were drawn against Liverpool, and well, following them from their 4-0 win at Anfield early in the season, you almost have to say that they were going to be surefire to win that one. But you never know in football, do you? Manchester United squad looks like this today. Coach Pop has sent out David De Gea in goal. It's Lindelof, Bailly and Harry Maguire, the original back three, and probably the most notable ones, of course. Zaha, Williams was with Gomez, Henwood and Hunter in a bit of a makeshift midfield today. Anthony Martial stays on, but Joshua Boy gets a start up front alongside him. For Huddersfield today, Luzal always in goal, as always. Handriti, Youngeston, Cargolo and Drum are the midfield. Hogg and Spurglet are at the back midfield. The front midfield is Carmucher, Pitchford and Robert Solby, and up front is Dicklebury. Does he not want to sign a kind of left back? We do know that Cameron Borthwick-Jackson in particular has performed ever so well this season. He's probably been one of their best players behind the obvious of David De Gea, Fuzu Mensah. Well, not Fuzu Mensah, this is the obvious, but Martial and Rashford, and Pogba, Sanchez, and then comes the likes of Fuzu Mensah and Borthwick-Jackson. So in pretty good company. With Zaha off the post. Manchester United forward again. David De Gea, who's on quite an impressive run of clean sheets at the moment as well. Oh, Martial, what a touch. And he's got onto the end of it as well. And now Martial's on the sprint. Oh, he's wide. Oh, you would have put your house on Martial scoring from there. Oh, it's a poor attempt considering the circumstances, but the build-up play was sensational. He chested it forward and then took off, and no Huddersfield player was going to catch him. But he couldn't put the finishing touch on it. And now here comes the Gregg Popovich football. Zaha picks out Martial. Martial waits and cuts in. Oh, he picks out Buai instead. Fake out there by United. Hunter. Oh, he's left his defender on the deck. And he's just 6 and 7 on the cross. Oh, what a phenomenal piece of skill by Alex Hunter. He had his opponent seeing stars. Is that a foul on Buai? No. Danny Williams. Oh, Williams, what a pass. And Zaha's away. Zaha into the box towards Martial. Oh, it's a great save by the keeper. And he's gathered it. What a great close range save by Laseo. Great goalkeeping. Forward by Maguire. And that is the end of the first half. And it has been a pretty even game. But Laseo in the Huddersfield goal really deserves an honourable mention this afternoon, because Manchester United could have been 2 or 3 up, but for him, that close range save from the header of Martial, absolutely brilliant. And then he gathered it. Huddersfield have really played well. Manchester United 0, Huddersfield 0 at the break. Probably the fair result so far. Gomez has been gifted the ball. Henwood keeps running. Brilliant stuff. Aaron Henwood has been denied by the keeper. Oh, Laseo is saving everything. He's frustrating this Manchester United side that have scored an abundance of goals all season long. It's been top against bottom in the scoring department. But today, Joshua Laseo, or I think it's Joshua Laseo, is playing well at the moment. Really well. Aaron Henwood was open and free and away. And again, you would have put your house on him scoring. He's done that so many times before. But today, he's just come up against an inspired goalkeeper. And now Manchester United away again. Martial, they try again. Martial, and blocked away. And Huddersfield are being vigilant. They are being valiant at the moment. Williams gets pushed by the Williams on the Huddersfield team, which I believe is Danny Williams, ironically. And Williams puts it over, and Cameron's coming. And now Huddersfield tried to attack. They can't get through. Oh, they did there. This game's livened up a little bit now. But he always wants to give his young players a chance on the pitch. Be interesting to see what Gribbin can do from this position. Aaron Henwood. Oh, we hold the build up brilliantly. What a pass. Gomez into Martial. And again. Joshua Boy, and again. Laseu has saved it. There's no getting past this keeper. Oh, an inspired performance by Huddersfield's keeper. Away come Huddersfield now. With a cross. Oh boy, the greatest of headers. Maguire throws himself in front of that. Brilliant defending by Harry Maguire. It's almost like he saw that developing. By not the greatest of headers away. But for Harry Maguire, Huddersfield could have been ahead there. Goal coming in. And Burnley have asserted authority against the league leaders. And Laseu saves again from Martial. He's saving everything that's being thrown at him. Inspired performance. Williams. Oh my goodness, what has Gregg Popovich got to do against this team? Now they're forward again. Solby. His lack of pace is rather telling. Should have done better there, Kanjua. And it is time for the man. Marcus Rashford is warming up for United. Williams headed forward by Mapara. Oh, great header. Huddersfield have the lead against the run of play. And is well deserved. They have to thank their goalkeeper. But Papara came on. And he's given Huddersfield the lead. It's another great header that beats De Gea. He seems to be kind of struggling against headers, really, more than anything else. Well, Manchester United were pretty asleep here. No one picked Papara up, or Gribbin actually went away from him for some reason. He could have really done better there, Callum Gribbin. He's probably at fault for this. Just runs straight past him, doesn't threaten him, doesn't do anything. And David De Gea, well, you have to say he's unfortunate. He tried his best there, but the header is just too much for David De Gea. And we were saying that David De Gea has had splendid performances, and he has, to be fair. And right there, I don't think he's at blame for it. And that's the thing with David De Gea. He's not been really at blame for any of the goals. It's been his defenders that have let him down on occasion. As Ander Herrera came on for Angel Gomez. And Marcus Rashford came on for Joshua Boy. So here's Marcus Rashford here to change the game, no doubt. Hunter was looking for a response. Oh my goodness me. Goal already. Alex Hunter immediately responds, and where are Huddersfield there? Well, cancelled out. And Alex Hunter and Marcus Rashford with a great pass. And finally the save is beaten. He's unfortunate, to be honest. But with the form that Alex Hunter's showing, it's almost no surprise that he scored, really. And Laseu is, his fingertips away from it. Oh, it's so unlucky. You've got a feel for Laseu. He's done well this afternoon, really well. But Alex Hunter, well, he just cannot be stopped, can he? Keeps on scoring. 5 goals for Hunter in the league this season. And we're back where we started immediately as the game changed. The game's lit up in the last 15 minutes or so. And now we're, just as soon as we were saying Huddersfield 1, Manchester United 0, now it's 1-1. I think a draw overall is the fair result. Forward comes Marcus Rashford. Brilliant touch. It's Rashford. He's missed it, and that's the end of the game. What a great second half. What a great performance by Huddersfield's goalkeeper. But unfortunately, just when Huddersfield looked to have gained something with Papara's great header past David De Gea, Alex Hunter immediately responded with another goal for him today. Ian Williams, probably two of the most inspired signings of the season so far. They've had their greatness, haven't they? Potential for the future. But, well, what a great game we've had here. Laseo really has earned more than his point today, but he's the reason for that. He kept them out for 82 minutes. But Alex Hunter proving just how great he could possibly be in the future with another great strike and another great goal, just like his granddad. A draw is a fair result today. Manchester United won, Huddersfield won. There's quite a few shock results in the Boxing Day fixtures. Let's check them out and what that means for the Premier League table. When we start with a shock, because 9th placed Bournemouth continue their climb up the table with a 1-0 win at Spurs. Watford lost 2-1 against Mauricio Sarri's Chelsea today, throwing them a lifeline in their chase towards the title. They're currently in 6th. Burnley beating league leaders Everton by 2-0, which changes the table a little bit. But obviously with Manchester United's draw with Huddersfield, it's only a point gained for them today. Crystal Palace have beaten Cardiff by 2-0, while Fulham earning a surprise win at Wolves. They've been kind of goal-ridden for the most part, but today they beat Wolves by 2-0. Manchester City's season continues to plummet down the order because Leicester and them have only earned a draw today, but it is a point for Pep Guardiola, but he needs more, and especially against teams like Leicester City, which he'd probably be expected to win. Manchester United suffering the kind of same fate at Huddersfield, of course. West Ham beating Southampton by 2-1 in the end. Liverpool beating Newcastle by 2-0. In a later fixture, a day later, just when Unai Emery's season seemed to be gaining momentum, Brighton come in and deliver a shock with a 2-1 win against them there. But Unai Emery's season has started to settle, as he's far away from the trouble that he had before. Arsenal are scoring, but they're also conceding a lot too. Everton lead the table by 2 points ahead of Manchester United. Manchester City had a real chance to capitalise today on other results, but they couldn't take it. They only drew against Leicester today, which is status quo really in the top 3, but with Everton's loss, they've gained points. Burnley sitting in 4th, and their win against table-toppers Everton has propelled them up to 4th. With Spurs' loss against Bournemouth today. So Burnley have come from nowhere, and Sean Dyche is looking at a Champions League spot. It's unbelievable this season, isn't it? Chelsea in 6th, equal on points as well. West Ham in 7th, just a point behind the top 4. Arsenal a bit of a ways back, but there's still another half of the season to play, of course. Bournemouth in 9th place, Wolves in the top 10, newly promoted, a great effort by Wolves. Palace 11th with Leicester 12th, Liverpool down in 13th, and we said last time out that their season has slumped, and they continue to do so, but they did earn a win against Newcastle today, but they're going to need more. The second half of the season is still long though. Southampton in 14th with Brighton in 15th today. That helps with the 2-1 win at Arsenal they gained. Newcastle in 16th, Watford 17th. Fulham, Huddersfield and Cardiff City still at the bottom and a long way off safety. But definitely a definitely a valiant effort from the bottom clubs today. In particular, Huddersfield with a vital point, but they're still quite the ways off at the safety, because Watford are on 16 points and Fulham are only on 12. And here we are at the end of 2018. It's the final weekend of the year, as it were, and Manchester United will most obviously be having to end this year on the highs they've actually started. But it is it's a really interesting matchup today, because it's against Bournemouth, and Eddie Howe, of course, is probably one of the auctioneers for maybe Manchester United's future. There's been no real update on Gregg Popovich's current contract after obviously Manchester United were forced to put the brakes on talks earlier this year due to circumstances back at home for Popovich. So the likes of Eddie Howe, as we said last time out, one of the auditioneers maybe for their future. But today, he's all about Bournemouth. A couple of notable, well, a whole shuffling of the pack actually from Manchester United's point of view. This formation is completely wrong. That's the bugs of the game. We'll have to sort it out. But that is the team. But the formation is wrong. That's a game bug that's been most noted in that one. So we'll have to change that up before the game starts. I don't know what it is. That's still present. But what are you going to do? Let's see if this is right. Well, Begovic is in goal. That's the one thing we do know. Smith is with Mings, Axe and Rico in the defence. I'm assuming that's correct. Cobble's with Sermon, Lemmer and Okramps in the midfield. David Brooks, a United fan, playing behind Jermaine Defoe, who is up forward once again for Eddie Howe's team. So here's what the formation actually is and where everyone is. David De Gea returning his place in goal. It's a whole shuffle of the pack for Popovich today. Borthwood Jackson is with Rojo, Jones and Dallow in the defence today. It's a 5-man midfield, incidentally, with Aaron Hillwood probably playing the most defensive role. He retains his spot from the Cardiff game along with David De Gea. Andreas Pereira with Paul Pogba, Sanchez and Chonga, the rest of the midfield. Marcus Rashford is up top by himself today. And that is the end of the first half, and you have to say, Bournemouth have done really well defensively in this first half. Marcus Rashford has barely had a sniff on the ball. So they've done well there, but they haven't scored themselves because David De Gea has been producing some really fine saves as well. I think 0-0 is a fair result at the break. Bournemouth will take on Watford in the Premier League. Oh, and Chong off the bar and in by Marcus Rashford, I think. Oh, and what is Tahir Chong got to do to score a Premier League goal or a Manchester United goal in general? Marcus Rashford latches onto the scraps. It's 1-0. But you got to feel for Tahir Chong. He just cannot put it in the back of the net at the moment. Wonderful cutting. I think it might be saved by Begovic onto the post, and he makes a right meal of it. And Marcus Rashford, he wanted it more than Begovic, that's for sure. You got to feel sorry for Begovic as well. Tried his best. He saved the initial shot from Chong onto the bar, but Marcus Rashford, well, he lights that up, doesn't he? It's another goal. 10 for Rashford in the league in the first half of the season. He's had a tremendous one. Manchester United take the lead. Crucial with the score going on at Everton. United 1, Bournemouth 0. There's Rashford. Down towards Alexis Sanchez. Leaves one player on the deck. Here's Fred. And here's Rashford. Oh, great save. Great save for Begovic. Brilliant reactionary save. It came really quickly to him. Oh, that is a wonderful save. Jermaine Defoe is going off for Callum Wilson, I believe that is. Pereira with the corner. Headed away by Oncramps and out for a United throw. Well, here comes Wilson. He's kept it in somehow. Oh, wonderfully headed away by Borthwood Jackson. And now here come United with Sanchez. Ball over the top to Marcus Rashford. Where is the Bournemouth defending? It's Rashford. Oh, it's there. Axtay defends it. Corner. Well, they looked like though they were nowhere, Bournemouth, but all of a sudden Axtay busted his gut to get to the ball. Wonderful play. Corner to United. What a ball though from Pogba to Rashford in the first place. Headed away. Forward by Phil Jones. Here's Marcus Rojo of all people. He picks out Rashford with the pass. Oh, it's wonderful. And Marcus Rashford takes advantage. Wow, Marcus Rojo, what a pass. He picked out Rashford and he wasn't going to miss. It's another 2 goals for the ever brilliant Marcus Rashford. Headed forward by Jones, but watch this pass from Rojo. How did he get that to Rashford? Well, Rashford's touch was deadly to put it onto his other foot, and then he stretched the foot out and got it on target. Wonderful play by Manchester United again. That man, he just never seems to stop attacking. It wears teams down, that's for sure. Well, Rashford's having another one of those days, isn't he? He can't miss. 11 goals in the league this season for Rashford so far. And he's well on his way to even more. United 2, Bournemouth 0. Here's Wilson. Rojo. Pereira. Fred. Sanchez. Pass from Gregg Popovich's side. Martial. Marcus Rashford is left wide open. The defending is so poor. It's Pogba. It's 3-0. Where is the defence? Oh, Paul Pogba just left to his own devices. Oh my, the defending for Bournemouth is poor. Wonderful goal again though by United. They have had a storming second half. They usually do. Martial, wicked cross. And the Bournemouth defender, you probably got a feel for him in a way. Maybe he didn't feel that Martial was going to cross at that precise moment, but he did, and it went straight for everyone. And maybe Begovic should be doing better there as well. It's not the most brilliantly struck volley. And there is a picture of unity from these Manchester United players, and it just shows on the pitch. Marcus Rashford 2, Pogba has 1, United have 3, and it's game over. What another storming second half by Manchester United after really getting very little in the first. Gregg Popovich's teams know how to turn the screw, don't they? And they absolutely decimated Bournemouth for the rest of the game. And they needed this. With Everton, last we heard, were winning 1-0. We don't know the full result. We'll check that in a moment. But here today, Manchester United, 4 points out of 2 games. And heading into the new year where things start to calm down. Manchester United have ended 2018 as they pretty much started it. 3-0 against Bournemouth today. Alright, so let's have a look at the final weekend results of the 2018 part of the 18-19 Premier League season. And the table, and boy, does the table make for unusual reading. Let's start with the results first. Watford and Newcastle held each other to a 1-1 draw today. Brighton actually fought back to earn a point against former table toppers Everton. We'll have former for a minute there, as you can see. Leicester beating Cardiff by 1-0, ending a very sombre 2018 on a high note for them, considering the tragedy they suffered earlier in the season. Fulham losing to Huddersfield by 3-1. Chelsea and Mauricio Sarri with a well-earned win against Crystal Palace today, but everything just seems to be falling into Manchester United's lap for the rest of the season, because Manchester City somehow have lost again. Their season just plummeted. Now they've lost 2-0 against Southampton. Spurs rather have held each other to Wolves to a 1-1 draw. My apologies. Burnley then beat West Ham by 2-0, and a huge result at Anfield as Arsenal beat Liverpool by 1-0. And that means for the table, it is all falling Manchester United's way going into 2019. After a bit of a shaky start to the season, or a shaky period in it, they now top the table for, I believe, the first time this season, ahead on goal difference, because Manchester United's goal difference is just far superior to everyone's at the moment. And now they take the lead on goal difference, with Everton tied for second on points. Burnley have come from absolutely nowhere and are third, ahead on goal difference, and then Manchester City have dropped to fourth. So their end of 2018 has dropped them 3 places after over 10 wins on the bounce to begin with. Mauricio Sarri's Chelsea have also crept in, and it could be a bit more of a race than we've anticipated. Maybe we could have a big multi-horse race for the title this year. Although, let's face it, the gap between Burnley and Everton is 6 points, but we've still got another 18 games to play overall in this league. Spurs down to 6th. Where have they gone? They're now down to 6th. West Ham 7th. And Unai Emery's Arsenal team flying all of a sudden, with blips here and there, but they've still probably got an outside chance of a top 4. They're only 7 points behind. Still plenty of games to play. Leicester in 9th and Wolves are in the top 10. And a great first season back in the Premier League for Wolves. Southampton in 11th, with Bournemouth in 12th despite their loss to United today. Palace in 13th. Liverpool somehow have just fallen off under Jurgen Klopp this season. Only 6 wins. And down in 14th. And His misery was further compounded with the loss at Anfield against Arsenal. Brighton in 15th with Newcastle 16th and Watford completing the safe positions. Huddersfield now just 3 points actually away from safety. In 18th place, Fulham are in 19th and they're on 12 points. And every team has scored more than double points now this season. Cardiff at the bottom, 7 points from safety.